Hi, my name is Donny Lowy, the CEO of Closeout a New York wholesale business. Today I'd like to discuss with you suggestions on where to open up your clothing store. Opening up a clothing business is very lucrative because you are providing a product that people use on a daily basis, and also you're providing a product that people enjoy buying on impulse. So when opening up your clothing store, the first question you need to determine is who your target market is, and make sure that you're opening up your store near that target market. Don't expect to create a market for your clothing. While it is a possibility, it's a lot easier just to bring your merchandise to customers who already have an appetite for it. So if you're selling sports clothing or you're selling club clothing, you might look for a college town, or you might look just for a store that's near a university. If you are selling clothing geared toward the corporate market, then the best location would be a store in an office building or in a downtown area. Now, when you actually are looking for a location, there are factors you should consider. One often overlooked factor, which I do recommend, even though it seems counterintuitive, is to open up your clothing store near your successful competition. And what I mean by that is look for an area where a retailer is already selling apparel successfully to the same market that you want to sell to. By opening up your store near that retailer, you will be able to draw some of his customers into your shop. And since you know that customers are already going to that area to shop, you know that you have a chance of also attracting them to your store. Of course, wherever you rent your store, you want to make sure that it's affordable enough that you'll be able to make money and that the rent won't represent a major expense to your business. But at the same time, don't trade a low rent for a low traffic area. I would prefer to pay a higher rent for my location, but know that there are a lot of customers, whether it's foot traffic, whether it's cars driving by, or it's just a busy area that people might fluctuate to at different times of the day or during the weekend. Because remember, when you rent a store, your actual location should replace a lot of the advertising that is required when you have a website or the expense of mailing out a catalog. You can still advertise to draw in customers, but by having a prime location, you are already setting yourself in the midst of a market. So instead of having to create or attract that market, it's worthwhile to spend an extra amount of money on rent, knowing that you're putting yourself in front of an audience. Of course, you have to do the math carefully because you might want to pay a slightly lower rent to be maybe a block away from a high traffic area or on a side street, and then with an extra savings, you can devote that part of that money towards advertising. You could have someone give out flyers, you could have someone hold out a sign. So for example, if having a store on 34th Street and Broadway might cost $20,000 a month, that could be a great location, knowing that there are 20 to 30,000 people passing by that store, sometimes on a busy weekend. But if you could have a store for half the price on a side street and know that you might not get as many traffic as coming by in terms of customers, but you can have someone giving out flyers right in front of 34th Street and Broadway, so you'll be able to save maybe $10,000 a month rent and then spend maybe another few $100s advertising your store and bringing a lot of those people to your shop. The same is true whether your shop is located in downtown Abuja or if your town is located in Trinidad. The idea is to bring your store as closely as possible as you can to a high traffic location while still ensuring that the rent will not put an undue stress on your business. Another important factor is accessibility. I've seen some great businesses not perform as well as they can simply because customers don't have an easy way to reach them. For example, I've seen gas stations where one gas station is very successful while the other one isn't, simply because they are on opposite sides of a two-way avenue. And the same applies to a clothing shop. You want to be in a section, you want to be in a street, you want to be in a neighborhood, in an area that's easily accessible, whether it's by public transportation, or it's by driving, or even walk by traffic. I was once shopping for clothing for myself, and I was told that there was a store that carried what I needed, but it was an elaborate set of directions that I was given to in order to reach that store. So instead, I just continued shopping at the store where I was at, even though it might not have been my optimal choice. And the other option, of course, when you open up a store, is you can try to go to a destination where the rent is very low and then use advertising as we suggested. And you can also use online marketing tactics. You can use Facebook to advertise your business. You can use Google AdWords. There are many, you could use email marketing, you could advertise in local newspapers. So there are ways to draw customers to a low traffic area, but the only reason you should be in a low traffic area is if the rent is so low that it'll allow you to spend a sizable amount of money advertising, because you will need to advertise in order to get people to that location. But even after having spent X amount of money, it will, and plus the rent which you will be paying, it still comes out less than the rent that you would pay for being in a nearby high traffic location. And of course, if your store has a very high caliber of merchandise, great closeout prices, those two factors can be enough to draw customers, especially with word of mouth. Once you have satisfied customers who love your merchandise, they will tell other people to come to your store. My warehouse, for example, is not located in the fashion district, but it's located in Brooklyn, about 15-20 minutes outside of Manhattan. But because I have great brand name merchandise at great closeout prices, so customers are willing to travel outside of the city to reach my warehouse, I'm able to save on the rent and then pass those savings on to my customers, who of course want to pay a low wholesale price because they want to resell the merchandise. So the same idea applies with your clothing shop. If you can offer your customers a sizable savings on what you are selling and the brand names and the styles that they want, customers will be willing to travel to you. But of course, optimally, the best option is once again to bring your business to where the customers are. So therefore, you give them an option where they don't have to travel and they could still find great savings, which would create a perfect combination, which can attract customers to your store and encourage the customers to spend money by having the merchandise which they need. I hope this video helped you. Please visit my website. It's closeoutexplosion.com. You'll find the website link right below this video in the description. Thank you so much and have a great day.